Hi guys, in this video I'd like to show you how to create a frequency distribution and a percentage frequency polygon, or just a frequency polygon, whichever is easier as we go on. Okay, for frequency distribution, let's start with the marks data again. We are interested in the marks and its distribution. For that, I will make use of pivot table function. Now, if you click on, so you have to first click inside the list of the data that you are interested in. So in this case, I'm interested in marks, so click in there. You go to data and click here in the pivot table and use automatic pivot table. Right, so it shifts to a new worksheet, shift 4 in my case. Now this is the data points. So this is not every single data point. Here is 62. So this basically includes every single data that's a mark that is awarded in the list. So if there are repetitions as well, repetitions are omitted here. Now we're interested in the marks, so we'll bring the mark. So one row label mark is already in the row labels. Now we want the count values here of marks, so I'll bring the marks into the count form here. And now I am not interested in splitting the data by gender here, so this is basically contingency table otherwise, so I'll move it back. So I remove the gender from the table. If you're interested in, then you can create a contingency table of gender and marks. Now for now we're interested in the frequency distribution of marks. Now as you can see, this is not the count. There aren't 50.75 people who got, or students who got that mark. So well, I shifted. So what I'll do is I'll just go and click here on the I bar here, I button, and then from sum I change to count and click OK. Now I see now frequency of marks now. So there is only one person who been awarded 22.5 marks, 4 people were awarded 49.5 marks, and 2 people awarded 56 marks, 4 people, so on and so forth. Now as this stands, it doesn't look anything like a frequency table that you will normally see. We need now to group these marks into some sort of categories of certain intervals. Let's say the interval length of 10 marks, given that we have 60 different rows. So let's say we would like to have a mark length of 10 of categories, the categories of 10 marks long, and then their distribution or frequency on the right hand side of the table. So for that, to group the data, we right click on the first column where the marks are, right click and go to group and outline, and you go to group. So you follow these steps and you should be able to come to this grouping pop-up menu. Now it already by default 10 marks long category. You can change it as you wish. You can actually change starting from 22 and ending at 73 if you wish, but let's leave them as default. Now click OK, given that we should be happy with the 10 mark length or 10 mark long intervals. Click OK. Now we have 1, 2, oops, 3, 4, 5 categories of 10 marks each, and this now summarizes the number of students who got these marks. So there are 21 students were awarded a mark between 62.5 and 72.5, and that's actually majority of, or most frequent mark was within say 52 and 62 mark interval, and there are 5 people who actually failed apparently here. I mean, you can actually create intervals as well that would have a fail mark, all fail marks in one category, and then the rest will be a pass mark. But for the exercise, just to demonstrate the frequency table distribution creation and graph creation and creating frequency polygons, we don't need to kind of go into details that way. So now this is the frequency, these are simple counts, but if you'd like to have percentage frequency, you need to go here on the I again And here let's check options, show data as, and we have to have a percentage of total here. Right, click OK now. Right, so this is now percentage frequency basically. Now using this you can graph and create a histogram if you wish. So 60.67% of total students, or all students, have marks between 22 and 20, and majority of students got a mark. 37% of students got a mark between 52 and 62%. So if you want to create a histogram, just highlight it and usually go to charts, you go to histogram or a column chart. Now because this is not appropriate for marks essentially are continuous variable, so we'd like to have the gaps reduced to 0 here. We'd like the columns to be attached to each other, so we need to get rid of gaps. Usually that's what we do for continuous variables. If it's a discrete variable like number of cars in each bar and by some sort of category, then this would be a different picture. We would be happy with this picture here, with the image here. So let's choose something more interesting here, because we would like to see the kind of boundaries as well once we reduce the gap. So let's find an option where we can now reduce the gap between the categories. So I think it should be somewhere in the format. If not, you can also do this layout. No, it's not in the layout, so it must be in the format. Let's do right click and go to format data series, and here we go, gap width. So reduce this to 0. So let's put 0. Done. So this is our histogram now. So not anymore a bar chart. So with age, with marks, with any other continuous variables, you have to use histogram. So don't forget to label the x-axis and y-axis here, and I put a good title here, and then you may want to get rid of, delete the grids as well. So we're done with it now. Now next step, our next chart we would like to create is a frequency polygon. For frequency polygon, we will need this and these values, but we don't need the rest. I mean, in between the two we'll have to create two columns. So I'll just copy the two of them, copy, and I'll paste them here, paste. But when I paste, I'll do values only. So done. Now we don't need these, and we also don't need this. And let's move this. Done. Actually, if I can create a midpoint, then I will need only one column. So let's call this leave one area, one row there, and up there let's call midpoint, and then let's call this percentage frequency. And let's find what the midpoint of these two data points are in this category. So equal, usually midpoint is the average of the two boundary values. So in this case it's 22.5 plus 32.5 over 2. So this is the average of the boundaries in each category. Click 27.5, and the same in the next one. So we cannot drag it because it's not a formula that we inserted. We just type in the values. 42.5. Sorry, should start 32. Even ordering doesn't matter. 42.5. Close the brackets and divide by 2. Done. So it looks like there's each one, in each case it's 37, 47. So 7.5 in each case basically. So the next one should be then 47.5. So if you know the pattern now, you can simply type in the data rather than just 67.5, rather than going ahead with formulas. It will save time. Now for percentage polygon or frequency polygon, you should start from 0 and end at 0. In the frequency side, I should say. So let's extend the midpoints to the level that doesn't exist backwards and level upwards. So level backwards is basically 17.5, and we all know that in this category there's nothing, so 0. And category up is one category up is that doesn't exist, 77.5, that also doesn't exist, and as a result we don't have any frequency or any marks, so it's a 0 here. Now we need to highlight this together and go to charts again, line graph, and start with marked line option. Now as you can see, what we see is this is a line describing midpoint, and this line is describing frequency distribution, but we don't need the midpoint line, so click on it and delete it, and we have the frequency polygon here. Now however, what we need is x-axis labeled as midpoints in our data, so we'll have to now do a little bit of work here, and let's get rid of that as well. Legend, you can add it later if you need to. Right, so right click, select data now, and here we have to now add x-axis. Y-axis are percentage frequencies, these are given, but my x-axis should be these. So click here and highlight the values there, and OK. Now we've got the proper values here. Now this is a percentage polygon, the percentage frequency polygon. The same way, in the same way, you can create, using the same method, you can create the frequency polygon if you wish. Now don't forget to label x-axis, don't forget to label y-axis, and put the title before you put it this report in your report basically. So this video now kind of demonstrates you briefly how to create a histogram, or first of all how to create a frequency table, and it's histogram, and then percentage frequency polygon. Now hopefully this would be useful, and if any questions you can ask me in the class or leave feedback below the video.